Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Carolina Albernaz, CEO at the Brazil-Canada Chamber of Commerce, and we're here today with Reza Motalebpour, founder of INGWE Immigration, to talk a little bit about how to immigrate to Canada and how he can help candidates looking into coming to Canada. So Reza, hello, good afternoon, and thank you for being here. Really happy to have you here with us. Why don't we start by you telling us a little bit about yourself and about INGWE?
Well, hello, Carolina. Thank you for having me. Basically, I'm a first-generation immigrant myself. I've sponsored my spouse to Canada. I've helped a lot of friends and family immigrate to Canada. And over time, we've come across different experiences in our immigration path. And I decided that to start this immigration firm as a boutique immigration investment consulting firm to help others, to help non-immigrants, non-residents, basically, help them out through the path to Canada. There's a lot of immigration companies out there. There's a lot of lawyers. Sometimes it seems like they're just too busy, or they've never immigrated here themselves, or there's no empathy. And that's what we try to fill the gap with the company that we started. So 99.9% of all of our staff are immigrants, either residents or non-residents. So we completely understand our clients' needs and requirements. And that's how we started here in Toronto. Several years back, we started this. We've grown quite substantially because, as you know, there's a very good demand for immigration globally. And that's how it came. So basically, we are a company by immigrants for immigrants. And INGWE, by the way, it's an unusual name. A lot of people ask me, what is INGWE? How do you say INGWE? So it's a Zulu name. It's a dialect in Africa. It means leopard. And we wanted to have, and leopard, it's a very strong animal. So there's certain characteristics that we associate with it, and it's very unique in terms of the spots it has on its skin, right? It's very unique. So, and that's a differentiating factor with a lot of immigration. It's we're sometimes we're visibly different, sometimes internally, and we wanted to encompass an international name for the company, so it's not just like some random name like Canada Immigration, welcome to Canada. So we wanted to encompass an international name, and that's how we came about with INGWE Immigration.
That's amazing. So you mentioned that is a company by immigrants for immigrants. One of the ways probably that you differentiate yourself in the marketplace. What else do you do differently that makes INGWE so strong within applicants for Canadian citizenship or Canadian immigration?
Well, we just don't handle Canadian immigration, right? So that's one of the big differences. So you've got over 5,000 immigration firms and lawyers and consultants in Canada and probably overseas, but not all of them in Canada can handle other types of immigration. So we also handle Spanish immigration. We handle residency investment programs in Portugal as well. And we handle Cyprus, Malta, and some of the Caribbean islands as well. So there's a lot of residency programs residency sort of immigration programs that we handle outside of Canada. And as well, we handle all the programs here in Canada as well. So that's the main difference. The second difference is that we can say no to our customers. Most people, the service companies would not say no, and then you would see refusals, or you would hit a dead end as a newcomer or an applicant, because either A, you don't have your eligibility criteria, or there's something wrong with your documentation, even if you did have your eligibility criteria. So we tell the clients upfront that you don't have the criteria at the moment, you don't have the eligibility, or there's something wrong with your documentation. So we let them decide whether they want to take the risk coming forward or not, and what are the likelihoods of success. With other companies, typically is they make the decision for you. They're like, this is how much we charge, this is the program, pay us and we'll start. But we give all the options to our clients, eligibility criteria, the different various programs, the risks involved and the likelihood of success, and then they decide. And in some cases, we don't give them any offer because we're like, you know what, we don't believe that we can actually make, have a successful application with your profile. So we're not going to take it on. We don't want to waste your money or our time. So that's probably the main difference going forward.
Understood. So, I mean, you've been dealing with Brazil for a while now. In your experience, what are the main popular immigration programs amongst Brazilians?
Well, studying in post-secondary in terms of college is probably one of the most popular programs there is for, especially for Brazilians. There's a lot of mature students, there's a lot of mature professionals, so they consider post-secondary through college and then getting a work permit, a postgraduate work permit afterwards, and then proceeding with provincial programs or federal programs after graduation to apply for the permanent residency, depending on their eligibility. And then the startup visa as well is quite popular with Brazil because there's a lot of entrepreneurs in Brazil, a lot of innovation. So they're always looking at startup visa as well. It's very heavily marketed as well in the market. So a lot of immigration companies are typically saying, come to study in college or go, apply for a startup visa. Basically, that's 90% of the market right there.
And what are the main misconceptions about Canadian immigration system? We always talk about how open Canada is. Is it really that open? How easy it is to come to Canada?
Well, the main misconception is that it's fast and easy. Okay, it's not very fast. Okay, it's not bad relatively to other countries, and it may not be so easy. Right, so easy is a very vague word. So people think, Canada needs a newcomer. So what people text me in the middle of the night, they're like, I heard this thing on the news. They're giving citizenship to all the international students. I was like, okay, no, I don't think so at this stage. So they think it's just like it's easy, but it's great, but it's not fast and easy. Basically, if an applicant can apply under a program where they would be eligible for permanent residency on arrival, that would be the best scenario, right? They wouldn't have to come here on a temporary status and then seek to obtain that permanent residency. But not everybody has that option, right? Whether it's language requirements, eligibility or not. So at the end of the day, they come in, and if they don't receive correct information from the people who are handling their applications, they will have misconceptions in their heads, and they're not ready when they come here to go through that path, through those programs to become eligible for permanent residency. So the misconception is actually not having enough information before they come over or before they apply.
We know that immigration, the visa is just a small part of the process. In your opinion, what should someone take into consideration when looking to moving to a different country?
Well, the most important part is research, to understand the program that you're applying under, to communicate with immigration lawyers, consultants, offices, and compare information with what you found yourself. And the problem is sometimes some immigration programs are not publicly advertised. So they're hidden almost, it's like they're there, but they're almost hidden. So you won't know about them. And then the second issue is that sometimes programs are advertised or they are on the government websites, but it's very vague. So what people happen is like under the self-employed stream in Canada, people look at it and they're like, oh, I'm eligible. I'm an artist. I have a cultural occupation. I'm an athlete. And then they apply or they think they want to apply and then they get refused because the devil is in the details with immigration, right? So there's little details that you can only know if you've applied before, or you have a friend who's applied, or you deal with a company that's applied for others before. So the experience in some of these programs, especially the ones that are quite vague, where most people would be eligible, is almost like a little honey trap. And those are the things that immigration to anywhere, you have to talk to and correspond and research, cooperating with immigration experts in those fields for those countries, and doing your own research too.
And make sure that that the whole family is on board too, right? Because I think
100%. So if you're single, right, you get up in the middle of the night, you can get your suitcase and leave, that's fine. But if you have a family, you have to consider your kids, schooling, language ability, your spouse, if your spouse is working in their home country and their English is not strong and they come over, it's going to be a challenge. And me, okay, so I came here when I was, I think, 10 years old. I sponsored my spouse approximately 18, 19 years, I don't know, no, 15, 16 years ago, 15 years ago, okay? Up to this day, we haven't settled yet, right? Because we've moved around a lot as well. Like we didn't stay, but my spouse has recently only been like, okay, slowly we're settling in. We're talking about 15 years here, folks, okay? So there's no magic wand, there's no quick fix, there's no one solution for everybody. It's a challenge, and the first 3 years will be the most difficult. The second year, the 2 years after the first 3 years will be a little bit better. And then at the 5-year mark, I think that's when everybody kind of finds themselves slowly settling. It's either you give up before 5 years or you make it to 5 years. So that's how we see it.
So if Reza was going to apply for residency or to come to Canada today, what route would you choose?
Oh, that's Carolina, that's like the $1 million question, right? It's very difficult. It's not easy, and we take that for granted here as Canadian citizens or permanent residents, is what newcomers have to go through to become newcomers, like permanent residents. I think that if we had to filter and recycle the entire population of Canada of approximately 35 million through our own immigration filters programs, I would not see, our population might be around 3 to 5 million.
Wow.
Not 35 million. And if I had to come in, if I wanted to study, probably I would have taken the master's stream. So the postgraduate stream, there's 3 provinces that are promoting that. You study for your master's in a university or a PhD, and you can apply directly for permanent residency. So you don't need a job offer, you don't need work experience, and you just apply directly after successfully graduating. The second option for me would be probably maybe the international graduate entrepreneur stream. So you do maybe a college degree in one of the participating provinces, and then you start your own business. And I like starting businesses and that whole entrepreneurial rush. So I would graduate from even a college and then start my own business after 1 year of successfully running the business. And successfully means being able to take income for yourself and your family without incurring a loss, okay, for the company. And then being nominated by the province under that international graduate entrepreneurial stream for permanent residency. So those would be my top 2 options if I had to immigrate again, but probably Canada would not let me back in. So I prefer not to immigrate again.
You're happy that you're already here.
Yeah, I came at an early age and it was easy, quote unquote.
Is it because the immigration programs are getting more and more restrictive because they're looking for a specific kind of immigrant, or like why is it harder today than it was like 20 years ago?
Well, I'll give you a little bit of a story. So when I speak with my family friends, my fathers, or even friends of my father, or people who've come in like maybe 30, 40 years ago, right? So in the 70s, when I was talking to a colleague of mine who immigrated here from the Middle East, he said that they came to pick you up with a limousine at the airport, okay? They take you around the city in a limousine, and then the government official will call you maybe a day or two, like, how's your stay? Did you find a place to rent or buy? Do you like it? So if you compare, so the demand wasn't there.
Yeah.
The demand started probably in the 80s or late 70s, because I think Trudeau, not this Trudeau, after Trudeau, that's when they opened up immigration to let's say, Caucasian or typically non-European source countries. And that's when it boomed. So before this boom that we're seeing now in the last 10, 15 years, immigration was super, super easy. Now, because of the demand being larger, they have to have stricter regulations, stronger filters, and they're looking for people who can become economically established and integrate into Canadian society. So if Canada decides, hey, we're not going to have any requirements, I would guarantee you, in probably 6 months, our population would grow to 70 million. Okay, if there's 6 billion people in the world, I don't know if that's right or not, I would say 3 billion are considering Canada. So in some cases, you have to consider it all, it's all relative, right? What happened in the 70s and 80s, how people immigrated, and then what's happening now, and then the demand and supply. And plus, they're looking for the best of the best. So, you know, they're picky.
They want people to pay taxes, right? So the
to become economically established. And if you come here as a kid, when you're a child with your family, you're probably the best off. Yeah. Because you learn from the beginning, you grow up here, your friends are here, you adapt to Canadian lifestyles, and then you consider yourself as a Canadian. You don't have to come here at a later age, because that's a disadvantage, like most of us know, right? And a lot of Brazilians are coming here as mature professionals and students. So there's definitely a learning curve, and that gap between their professions back home and the professions they obtain here. And this is with all nationalities. Yeah. Like especially Asia, Middle East, South America, Central America. So it's not just with the Brazilians. This is a challenge for everybody.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time here today.
No problem,
I really appreciate having this conversation with you. For those who's watching, please go to www.ingwe.ca and book a consultation with Reza and his team. They will be happy to help you understand what the best path for you and for your family. And if you're not following us or not in touch with the BCCC, please sign up to our newsletter. Please go to our LinkedIn and follow us on LinkedIn so you can stay updated with all our activities and events. So thank you so much for watching us today. And thank you, Reza, and stay home, stay safe. And I'll see you.
Thank you, Carolina.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.